Fortunately, someone is available to explain all this technobabble. Translating technobabble to English, your translation expert, Benjamin Rockwell, is here with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-6373-888. This has been an interesting week with both Apple and Nintendo having big press conferences. So we're going to have Keith M. Sedor coming up next. He's going to cover that. And a little bit later on this hour, I'm also going to talk about Star Trek's 50th anniversary for just a moment. We've got actually a good tech angle on this. Usually we do, the stuff about Star Trek over on the Computer Talk Radio Nerdcast. But no, we'll talk real tech about Star Trek here in a little while. But first, let's do it. We always start with the news. And there are a number of different things in the news that of course, beyond PlayStation, beyond, yes, Apple, although you wouldn't think so. Clinton email continues to have some issues with cyber attacks and the rest. This is actually an ongoing thing. And I have no idea if you guys are interested in following this or not. We know that there were a number of hacks actively against Mrs. Clinton. We know that there were a number of different things along the way. But, yeah, we'll save the politics for another week. There, of course, was a Mars simulation. That was actually quite an interesting thing. And they basically spent an entire year living on one of the islands in Hawaii because they wanted a big, huge simulation of this. The only way that they could leave their habitat, which was part of the Hawaii Space Exploration Analog and simulation. The only way they could do that, getting into big, huge, cumbersome spacesuits. So that was one of those big, huge things there. They just came out of the habitat, which that's been a big, huge study for a year now. We're preparing. We're getting ready to figure out what it's going to be like to A, go from here to there, and B, be there, stay there, and C, potentially, this is the scary thing, potentially come back. Right now, there's a lot of discussion that the first folks that go out may be on a knowingly planning on going on a one-way trip until we can get enough rockets out there, we figure out everything, and we can get them back. They may be out there for 10, 20 years or, more. Apparently, the FBI is investigating more voter database hacks. This is an ongoing thing that is really it's really concerning. I've been talking about this for a little while, a matter of I don't believe that we should be voting electronically. We shouldn't be using our smartphones. We shouldn't be using the internet. We, personally, with my knowledge of technology and hackers and all of the rest of this, my personal approach, really, honestly, I'd rather see us completely abandon any idea of any technology. We need to go back to something that's very foolproof. You remember, I think it was Afghanistan, when they gave them the vote, everybody came along and they provided their ID if they could, but then to make sure that they didn't vote a second time, they put their finger in an inkwell, and they brought their finger up, and it was stained purple, and that would wear off in a matter of a few days, but they couldn't vote again. I like that idea. I have no idea if we're ever going to get in that direction. It seems like the more we go towards technology, the worse we're going to get. I mean, think about it. We had problems when it was just punch cards with Chads. Yeah. Oh. All right. Samsung, they've been having a problem. A big problem. Yeah. Apparently, their Galaxy Note 7s have been catching on fire. Yeah, there's a lot that's going on there, and this is units catching on fire in people's pockets. They've also had problems with faulty antennas. They've had a number of different things. This is really a big, huge debacle for Samsung. Is it going to kill them? No, they're in first place, actually. They sell more smartphones than Apple does. But that's spread across a very, very huge range of these. So, in the latest of email hacks, Variety magazine, their big database there was basically hacked, and there's been a bunch of just bad stuff coming on out. We got hacked kind of stuff. This is, yes, yet again, another big name going through, yes, yet another debacle. You'd think all of these big names, they would do something to protect themselves. I'll tell you, my email passwords, they're pretty huge for a reason. I don't want anybody to get my email and start sending out stuff using my name. And, one of I can't remember who it was. One of those big names, it came out that their password wasn't password, but it might as well have been. So that's, yeah. There is an interesting application for a patent that has been sent out, and this patent will allow the Google cars, the self-driving cars, to use special filters for red and blue flashing lights from, the cops. And what they'll do is they will avoid the cops. Okay, maybe that's a little bit crazy. Actually, I think a lot of that is going to be so much more of not avoiding the cops so you don't get a ticket, but more of avoiding the cops so that they don't get in the way of the cops rushing to an accident or whatever else. And also in police news, police are coming up with a number of different ways to catch you and me, if I were to actually be doing this, texting and driving. They've been doing a number of different things. Chattanooga, Tennessee, they patrol in a tractor trailer so that they can sit way up above the drivers who are texting behind the wheel. In Bethesda, Maryland, a police officer dressed up as a homeless man, and what he did was he just watched everybody driving by, and if they were texting and driving, he would radio to the appropriate officer in the appropriate direction. And in Massachusetts, a small little town south of Boston, there's an officer who uses his bicycle. He pedals up to the drivers at stoplights and looks in, and if they're texting, busted. So this is an ongoing thing, and So the European Union, they're basically they've had a big, huge overhaul that they've been doing in regards to copyright law. And this entire copyright overhaul is going to get, it's going to get really, really messy. One of the things that came out of it that's related to it is a lawsuit where somebody was sending out links basically for various news items and so forth. And one of the recipients of those links, that means the link goes from my website to your website, and one of the links to your website giving you more traffic, you didn't like that. You weren't keen on that, so you sued, me. What? Yeah, that's kind of how it works. That's kind of that whole lawsuit concept, and the court said, you can't do that. That is changing everything, because that's how the internet is built. The internet is built with a whole bunch of links. It's built with all of these, well, that whole World Wide Web. We haven't talked about that name in a while. That was a spider web of links everywhere. Yeah, that's what the web is. Links. Without those different little strands, we'll never get anywhere. Google might as well just shut down. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Not at all. Keith M. Sedor is going to be up next. He's going to be talking about, the Apple iPhone and other stuff announcements here on Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
Keith M. Sedor is a Mac. Benjamin Rockwell is a PC. I think a fanboy fight is about to start.
The website, computertalkradio.com. computertalkradio.com.
If you have any questions for us, you want to talk to us about anything, go to the website, scroll on down to where it says Contact Us, and just click there and then go and figure out how you'd like to contact us. Send us the information and we will get back with you. That's the easiest way for you to check out our YouTube channel. Just go to computertalkradio.com and click on the big, huge YouTube logo.
Keith M. Sedor joins you now. Oh, wait, that's
me. He does. Yes, that is you.
Hi, Benjamin.
Hi. All right. So
this is an exciting time of year.
Yes.
I'm Keith M. Sedor, better known as My Mac Guru at mymacguru.com and facebook.com/mymacguru. I'm here with my good buddy, Benjamin Rockwell, the host of Computer Talk Radio, and we are here
Thank you for introducing me.
to discuss with you the amazing, wonderful, and illustrious things introduced this week.
Illustrious. Okay, I like that. All right.
Apple's most recent keynote special event at the Bill Graham Auditorium in San Francisco. In your neck of the woods, Benjamin.
Yeah, well, not really. That it's 400 miles away. So what is that? That's like the distance between
New York and D.C.
Are they that far away?
It's a 4-hour ride from where I am to D.C.
Okay, well,
I'm only about
4
half an
hours
hour
is about 200 miles.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Let's not get into semantics over distances because I have some cool things to talk about.
Yeah.
Now, there were a lot of naysayers prior to this event saying that this was going to be a little more than a feature bump because Apple wasn't even redesigning the case of the iPhone.
Do I recall
7
you being
and
one
iPhone
of them?
7 Plus. I said I had my reservations. I would
Okay,
not
yeah,
have
you
been
did.
characterized by any stretch of the imagination as a naysayer.
All right.
Now, it was going to be strictly based upon whether or not the feature set improvements were going to be radical enough to completely overshadow the fact that Apple is going with the same shell design for the third iteration in a row. And let me tell you, Benjamin, it is a complete non-issue. Everybody who has not yet seen the Apple keynote from this week owes it to themselves to see the magnificence of the new iPhone 7 and 7 Plus. Benjamin, if you are a photographer of any kind,
and I am, yes.
Yes.
That is one of my primary hobbies.
Then you will love the powerful new camera in the iPhone 7 Plus. It is a dual camera system. And people are saying, well, what would you need two camera lenses for? Well, the same way you would have a DSLR in a full-size camera where you've actually got the room in the lensing to get yourself both a wide-angle lens and a telephoto in a single lens where you'd have something that large. You don't have that luxury in something that fits in your pocket. The first lens is for your standard wide-angle lens, which is the same lensing system that is used in the new iPhone 7. And it's a 12-megapixel camera. So it is an order of magnitude better than the old camera system and just the iPhone 6S.
And that's just on that one lens. Then
Correct.
we add in the other one,
which gives you your telephoto lens. Mm-hmm. And using these together, you can have a 1x or a 2x optical zoom, and then zooming all the way up to 10x using software. Mm-hmm. And that in itself is truly amazing.
Actually, the thing that really got me, the thing that really surprised me and excited me was the depth of field stuff that they were doing.
Yes.
That is distinctly in that SLR category, that range where you can have that crisp, clean face in the blurry background. Just beautiful.
Yes, most definitely. One of the things I'm most excited about, because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep my iPhone 6 Plus for another year or so.
Sure.
Because there is scuttlebutt already saying that they're saving the updating of the chassis for next year, which is the 10th anniversary of the iPhone. Mm-hmm. All of the features, just in the camera alone, are enough to make me want this new iPhone 7 Plus. On top of that, you take my already bulging 128 gigabyte phone, which is continually full. I'm constantly looking to delete old pictures, get rid of apps I don't need or use regularly, just scrape off a little extra memory. The fact that they have bumped the iPhone 7 Plus to a whopping 256 gigabytes of storage is nothing short of amazing. And
they shifted them all actually up a
yes,
matter.
They did.
So
the thing that helps me the most as an Apple certified consultant is I have many clients who come to me well after the fact. They've been using their iPhone for a year or more, and they continually complain that they are out of space.
Yeah.
Which is predicated Google's most recent ad campaign talking about all the storage space they can give you for your photos because your phone has run out of space. So many people have come to me, friends, family, and clients alike. They've had a diminished user experience on the iPhone because they only got the 16 gigabyte model and it doesn't serve anybody. So Apple did the good thing, and with the exception of the old, and I'll say old, even though it's last year's phone, the iPhone SE, which keeps a 16 gigabyte model, even the 6S and 6S Plus models that they're keeping in the lineup start at 32 gigabytes now.
Oh, do they? Okay. I saw something that was saying that they were 16s. Okay.
Nope. The only one that remains at 16 is the iPhone SE.
Okay.
But the 6S and 6S Plus that they're keeping will be offered in 32 and 128 gigabyte capacities, where the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus will be offered in 32, 128, and 256 gigabyte capacities, respectively.
I liked the issue in regards to they've added in a water resistance level. It's
not only water resistance, Benjamin, also dust resistance, which is neat.
Yes,
so you're not going to get a lot of crud built up in your ports. And one of the things I love the best about this is that you will no longer need a bulky life-proof or OtterBox-style waterproof case to turn your beautifully thin iPhone into this big, giant, hulking monstrosity in order to protect yourself from the elements or, heaven forbid, dropping it in a toilet.
Yeah. It will survive that kind of thing. What was it, 1 meter for 1 minute? Kind of. I think that's the base, the baseline for IP67, which is what they have.
Okay, then that may very well be the case because they did mention IP67, but they didn't disseminate what that actually translates to.
Well, so IP67 has a certain spec, and then I'm sure the Apple folks have exceeded that specification. So what else? What else was covered in the event?
The other thing that is of note with the brand new iPhone 7 and 7 Plus is they have replaced the 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch stereo analog jack with the ability to plug in earpods that connect with a lightning connector now, or you can connect via Bluetooth, which I actually connect my current iPhone 6 Plus to my car via Bluetooth. What's really neat about this is it's one less port of entry for water and or debris to get inside your phone.
Definitely. Then one additional item, of course, is a matter of the additional dongle that they provide to convert.
That was something that a lot of naysayers were saying that Apple would be using as a cash grab, that it's not going to come with it, but if you want it, we make it, and it's going to cost you X number of dollars. But look at Apple coming in saying, oh, we're going to make the transition easy for you. If you have a pair of favorite headphones, you can still use them, and we're going to give you the adapter for free, included with your new iPhone 7 or 7 Plus.
Yeah, definitely. This is Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Sedor.
And when we come back, we're going to go through even more of this Apple event.
Here on Computer Talk Radio. We'll be back.
I'm constantly looking for the right place to get computer hardware. It's not easy, as there are so many stores that have gone out of business, so many shady characters online, or they're simply not capable of handling diverse needs. In 1979, two guys got together and built a computer company that could serve your nerdy needs. Micro Center. The wide range of products at Micro Center includes even the latest of Raspberry Pi, Arduino, and other hobbyist-level computers. They also have drones. They've got them in all price categories, from toys to, oh boy. Look, you're looking for console gaming, home automation. Micro Center's got that. Hardware, software, accessories, or, well, whatever. It doesn't matter. From Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com.
$888 nerd 888. That's 888-6373 888. I'm Keith M. Sedor, and Benjamin Rockwell joins me once again as we speak about all the amazing Appleness this week.
Yes.
It is delicious apples. It's like an ambrosia apple.
Yes,
which is the sweetest apple God has ever created. Now, Benjamin, there is a lot that is amazing and awesome about being an iPhone user. But one common lament of the iPhone user, of the iPhone gamer, has been the lack of classic gaming by Nintendo. This week, that all changes. Nintendo's Shigeru Miyamoto took the stage this week with Tim Cook and introduced Mario for the iPhone in a brand new made for iOS game, which I have to say plays a lot like Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Run. It looks amazing. It will be out in time for the holidays, and I cannot wait.
Now, is it going to require a later version of the iPhone or iOS or anything like that? Do we have any kind of idea if they're going to have Zelda? There's a lot.
Specifications and other game titles have not been announced yet. One thing that was made note of was that this will not be a game that you need to make in-app purchases with, there will be one price, and then you own the game and you get to play it in perpetuity. Although they did not yet say what that price will be, but it will be out in time for the holidays. If I had to guess, I'm going to make the assumption that this game will require the brand new iOS 10, which will be shipping with the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, which I didn't mention in the last segment, but the iPhone orders are being taken this weekend, and the iPhones will be hitting the street on September 16th.
Nice.
So
very cool. Yeah.
I'm going to make the assumption that Super Mario Run will require iOS 10, but that has not yet been confirmed. We will find out in time for the holidays when they release it. Another thing that is very exciting, you'll remember that I've always been a bit of an Apple fanboy myself, and
No.
go ahead, say it.
A bit?
I knew you were going to say it.
Yeah.
I have always loved Apple's products, going all the way back to the early days of the Mac, and I have had the earliest incarnations of iPod, which I still am enamored with, the classic iPod. Also love the iPad, although I don't use it as frequently because I have the iPhone 6 Plus, and that gives me a larger screen in my pocket.
Yeah.
But when the Apple Watch came out, I thought it was neat. I thought it was kind of cool. And yet, I was not covetous of it the way I was with other Apple products, the way I feel about my MacBook or my old iPod. But this week, Apple introduced the Apple Watch Series 2, which includes water resistance up to 50 meters. So your swimmers and other wet activity athletes will have no problems if they get this one wet, or even if you just feel like taking a shower with it on. And for people who want to do something really neat like hiking, it has a built-in GPS now.
Nice. Now, real quick, for people who are not familiar with the ratings, even though it says 50 meters, that is like a static 50 meters. So the scuba divers are out. If you're doing water skiing, probably not going to want to take your watch with you. But yeah, it's safe for showering. It's safe for swimming, standard swimming.
And the big thing
Very
is,
good.
if you're using the athletic metrics that Apple has on it, it's really good for measuring your progress, and you can close your circles on the Apple Watch through any activities you're doing while swimming. And Apple has also partnered this go-around with the Apple Watch Series 2 with Nike to create the Apple Watch Series 2 Apple Watch Nike Plus, which has 4 different sport bands and is tailored like any other Nike partnered product.
Now, Keith, we've got about 3 minutes left. What were the other things that were announced at this event?
Well, we have brand new earpods, which are lightning based, but Apple also introduced AirPods, a wireless Bluetooth headset, which are 2 individual pods, and they have a little charging case which plugs into a lightning cable to charge them, and they are good for a solid 24 hours, we are told. Those are not yet available, but Apple will be shipping them next month for $159.
So that is an exciting thing. What do you think about the iWork references and the education references that they had in there?
The education references, honestly, Benjamin, I thought that was standard filler material. It's like, hey, this is what we're doing, and it was good. It was nice. You know, it's nice to see that Apple is pursuing education. With iWork, I thought the fact that they were adding collaboration features was very, very solid, because Microsoft Office has had collaboration for a great long time now. So now that Apple has added collaboration to iWork, which is Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, which is Apple's productivity suite, I think it's a great thing to have, because I've noticed a lot of my clients have been satisfied enough with iWork that is shipped with their brand new Macs that they actually have not felt the need to go out and purchase a copy of Microsoft Office, whereas previously it was kind of requisite. You bought a Mac, but you had to buy Microsoft Office to have the compatibility. And I'm finding that a lot of people no longer feel that way, because Apple's offerings are very solid and many people are using it. And because many people are now using it, adding collaboration, it only serves to make the product that much stronger.
So, Keith, fanboy and all right, what was the most lackluster thing from the event?
That's just it, Benjamin. There was nothing particularly lackluster about this event. I went into this hearing the basic buzz in the rumor mill, and it was largely accurate. But compared to the last couple of keynotes, I actually went into this with a few more reservations than I normally do, only because the last couple keynotes have been particularly disappointing. I think having kept my expectations in check this go around, coupled with what they actually announced, led to me being far more excited. I would have to say that with all of the specifications that they announced on the new iPhone 7 and 7 Plus and the improvements to the Apple Watch, and the fact that Nintendo has made its first foray onto our iPhones, there's nothing disappointing this go around, Benjamin. I was actually pretty excited.
Very cool. This is Benjamin Rockwell.
And I'm Keith M. Sedor. And Benjamin will be back in just a moment.
Hi, this is Benjamin Rockwell. Most of us use digital cameras nowadays, but what do we do with those old pictures and slides in the back of the closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. If you have boxes of old slides, then you know they fade more and more each year. Let Legacy Digital scan them for you and stop the aging process dead in its tracks. You'll get beautiful 10-megapixel digital files, color-corrected and ready for printing. All this is done faster and cheaper than buying a film scanner and doing it yourself. Your files are then burned onto gold archival DVD discs where they will last for generations. Call right now, mention my name, Benjamin Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. And tell them Benjamin sent you. Your memories are priceless, so call 866-2-LEGACY now.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of Computer Talk Radio. I don't know what else to say. I am here, and I'm in amazement. 50 years ago, this past week, Star Trek premiered. And 50 years later, this is just mind-blowing. 50 years later, we're still talking about Star Trek. Updates here and there, and yeah, we don't have a TV show right now. Yes, we had a lull in that concept in the 80s, although we did have the movies, and yeah, there's a bunch of stuff there. But Star Trek, along the way, inspired so much. It was one of those things that just became so amazing to a lot of people. Okay, yeah, some of them were nerds. It kind of worked out kind of weird that it picked up in its third season a lot of college people, and that is what has kind of kept it going. A lot of people were fascinated by that along so many different routes, so many different, I would say, roads, but it's space, so who knows? Anyways, this is something that we can look at. Well, on the 50th anniversary, they took out the graphic of the International Space Station at NASA, and they substituted in the Starship Enterprise. Yes. And, of course, NASA has a good, long relationship with Star Trek. They named one of the space shuttles Enterprise. And it was originally, you know what? It was originally going to be named the Constitution, because when it was slated to be released was, 1976. So the bicentennial and all of that. It actually never went to space, but we still had a lot of other things that came from Star Trek that we realized later on. So one of the things, back, of course, the original series, we had the tricorders, the communicators. That was basically a flip phone. Yeah, you remember the flip phones in the 90s? Well, actually, some people still have flip phones. In 1987, with Star Trek The Next Generation, they had something called a PAD, a personal, I can't remember the name of it, personal something assistive data device or something like that. Well, the iPad, yes, very similar. It was a tablet, and this is something that, of course, has been around for a few years now. Where do you think Steve Jobs got that idea from? Or maybe he was talking with them and said, hey, I'd like to do that at some point in time. As a matter of fact, the Newton came out very shortly thereafter after it was on Star Trek Next Generation. One of the interesting things, if you go back and you watch DS9, that's Star Trek Deep Space Nine, there is a point where Benjamin Sisko, that's the captain of the space station, he has on what amounts to Google Glass. It's a little window that pops up in front of his eye, and of course we saw something similar to that during the Borg episodes. Even more interesting was somebody sent me something just a couple of weeks ago about ALON, which is aluminum oxynitride. It's got a different name, though. They call it, actually, for fun, transparent aluminum. And the reality is, it is a ceramic material with aluminum that is, yes, clear. As a matter of fact, they're currently looking at putting transparent aluminum, or ALON, on the International Space Station because it's actually stronger and lighter than bulletproof glass, which is what they use up there right now. However, what they have up there now scratches really easily. So this is going to be quite an interesting ride. Another one, hypo spray. This was something that they had back then, and you could give an injection to someone, and it was provided by air, and the air was just pushing the vaccine or medication or whatever it was into the skin without a needle. It was just a high-pressure injection. Well, we've actually had that concept around for quite a while. It's actually still kind of costly for doing that, but when we start talking about administering this to a number of people very quickly, it actually starts to weigh out a little bit better. And even the concept of universal translators, the ability to speak in one language, English, and have it translated into another language, Klingon, or Japanese, or Spanish, or French, or Russian, or whatever you might imagine. Well, that's actually here. We do have some ability to do that with some of the apps out there. It's still kind of limited. It's still coming to us, but it's still exciting. It's still neat that we can translate anything that's written down from almost all languages into almost all languages, at least the major ones. Go look up Babelfish. Babelfish.google.com. I'm doing that off the top of my head, but I think that's the right one. But that's a translator, and it just translates the information for you. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and just a normal person. Recently, though, it was clear to me that it was time to upgrade, but I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After searching around for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when a 32-ounce soda would do. These guys know WordPress, Joomla, and regular standard websites. These guys at SiteGround are awesome. SiteGround.com. Site, S-I-T-E, ground.com. So as I mentioned at the top of the hour, yes, there was a Sony PlayStation conference. It was presented right about the same time that the Apple conference was happening. I don't know why people do this. Well, like, you're going to steal the thunder from Apple? No. This would have been better done on a different week. Microsoft tried to do that a little while back. You just look to avoid the competition. So the Sony PlayStation 4, they've slimmed it down, and yeah, it's going to be a slimmer, lighter, more energy efficient model. This is kind of along the lines of, yes, the Xbox One Slim. They do have a PlayStation 4 Professional or Pro that's going to support both 4K and HDR, which is high dynamic range content. HDR is basically making the blacks blacker and the whites whiter, making everything look a little bit more crisp. And this is something that they're going to be doing. They also announced a number of games, and probably the biggest thing in my little note is that they're finally going to bring TV streaming apps to the PlayStation 4, except it's going to be the Pro. This blows my mind completely. This is something that Xbox has had for ages. A lot of people have gone in this direction, a matter of this is how we bring non-cable into our lives, basically how we cut the cord. This is key. Netflix is going to be available on the PlayStation 4 Pro. Finally. Netflix has actually been on, I think it started on the Xbox 360. I'm doing that from memory. So we go back a little ways for that. And this is something that they're pushing really hard on, and also YouTube is going to be developing an app for that. But is this too little too late? Is this a situation where a lot of people are going to go running out? I don't know. I think Sony has priced themselves outside of the market for far too long, and they continue to be sitting in a place where they're kind of still at that aggressive price point. They're $300 for the basic PS4, $399 or $400 for the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, yeah, you can do an Xbox One Slim and start paying that kind of money, but there's a lot more in my circles. The people I talk to, there's a lot more interest in that direction, the Xbox. So, yeah, they had their announcement. It wasn't anything really overwhelming. It wasn't anything that, oh, yeah, we're doing this, and this. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, I struggled just a little bit to bring this announcement into 4 minutes. Yeah. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio, so I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theRadioFactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. TheRadioFactory.com.
Laptops, thumb drives, and a wall charger. A sure sign that our nerd is here again. Bringing you news and knowledge from the world of computers and technology, here's Benjamin Rockwell with Computer Talk Radio.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. The phone number, 888-NERD, 888, that's 888-637-3888. I am a computer nerd. So one of the things I'm going to tell you on a regular basis is to make sure you back up your data. You need to back up everything you've got. But really backing up one particular part of your life is probably far more important than anything else I can talk to you about. This one issue in life, your memories. Plain and simple. What you have as far as pictures, what you have as far as your tax items, your this, that, the other thing, whatever it is that could cost you money tomorrow, what costed you money a couple of days ago, whatever it is that you need to have on hand, of course, should be backed up. But think through the issue that we now keep our photos on our phones. We keep our photos, we move them off of our phones eventually to the computer. And we keep our photos on our little SD cards. And we have a way to go back to our memories. We can look at pictures from long ago. Well, maybe not so long ago, because those are all digital photos. We hang on to the legitimate photos, but what about these digital photos? What about these? Because you know what? We are going to want them again someday. We're going to want them should we have an issue where somebody has an unfortunate thing happen to them. We see these disasters, whether it's a hurricane or a tornado or just an unfortunate incident with somebody that we know. And, of course, that can all affect the photos, the memories in our lives. This kind of thing can affect people you know, the people you love, and this is one of those things where we need to stop. We need to take stock in what we have and ponder what we need to do in case something happens that's bad. We like to think that nothing bad is ever going to happen to us. I will tell you that, yes, bad things do happen. We have to be aware of that. We have to be very cognizant of that fact. Photographs are very high on the possessions to be saved list. So you need to look at your options there. A local disaster may destroy everything you've got. A few hours spent making copies of your lifetime's worth of memories is really fair trade of anybody's time. Get it all into one spot. Get it all into those, $100 external hard drive, 4 terabytes, 5 terabytes, 6 terabytes these days. It's worth that $100 and the few hours to put everything over onto that external hard drive. We are nearing the holiday season here, and we have all kinds of these film records of our lives. whether it's on our phone, on our computer, on the memory cards, even on regular film, we need to go through and we need to back them up. Now, why do I say this? Well, look, some of this stuff, we can lose these just as simply as a hard drive crashing. We can lose these through one of those natural disasters. How often do we hear about people have 3 minutes to get out of their house? We had fires a little while back in Los Angeles. Over 80,000 people were told to leave their homes. 80,000 people were told, you can't come home quite yet. Yeah, some homes were lost in that. Along with that, yes, we did have people who lost important data. But the images of our families, of our pets, these are all important. The old and reliable advice of copying digital images to CD, DVD, that backup external hard drive is a sound starting point. But now, I'm going to go to the next level here, too. Because I know some of you are out there. You're shaking your heads and wondering why bother with something that's easy to lose, a physical device. Okay, what if I can't get back into my home? What do I do now about that external hard drive? Huh, Mr. Smarty Pants? Yeah, I can hear you thinking that. Well, that physical hard drive doesn't stay at your home. That physical hard drive goes across the country to grandma or your brother or sister. It doesn't stick around in your state. It goes far away. Now, the other option, though, is use the internet, use the cloud. And yes, I know there's privacy issues. You upload those images to the internet, and, there have been a few people who have gotten into trouble. We keep hearing a particular name, Anthony somebody or another. It keeps popping up in the news because he keeps taking pictures, and they go out on the internet. But here's the thing. Most of us don't take those kinds of pictures. Also, it's a matter of we're not going to be targeted. Well, he wasn't even targeted. He did stupid things. He put those pictures out in public. Hey, I'm going to use Facebook. I'm going to send this via instant message to my friend. Oh, wait, no, that was a public post. Oops. Yeah. With most of these services, everything's going to be secure no matter what. But also, are you going to be targeted for your pictures of your pets? No. Are you going to be targeted for some kind of heavy-duty blackmail? No. Not unless you're like a multimillionaire, in which case you already have bigger problems to worry about in regards to who's going to target you for blackmail. So, yeah, you got a picture of Fido. Great. You're going to blackmail me with that? It's my dog. Nothing else. It's my dog. Oh, wait, he's chewing on his chew toy. Yeah, no. Yeah. There are free services out there that will keep track of all of your images. Flickr is one of them. You can do something like, Dropbox, or Microsoft has their own OneDrive solution. You can keep it more private like that. Even on Flickr, though, a lot of the typical access level on a number of these different photo sites is public, shared, and private. So private means only you see them. Shared means only you see them and your immediate family. And then public, of course, everybody can see that. But look, you bring this all under your control. You put this information out where you can get to it, in this case, almost anywhere. That's kind of the neat option there with things like Dropbox. Your computer dies. Belly up. Boom. Gone. It's out of here. Oh, okay. Let's click here. We load Dropbox.com. Okay. We load that down, download the software. We log in, and now we have everything that we need at our fingertips. Whether it's at the office, where you've had to relocate because of a massive hurricane, you've had a major earthquake happen, whatever it is, See, all of that stuff's out on the internet, and you can instantly update a lot of those things carefully all the way through. I like that concept. I do that all the time. As a matter of fact, a lot of the information that I use to keep this radio show alive is on an online service. It's out there and it's ready for me to access it anywhere in the world. Do I expect something bad's going to happen? No. But I will tell you, the people out and about around wherever the latest tragedy has happened, they did not expect that tragedy to hit them. They did not expect that this, that, or the other thing has happened, or that has happened, would have happened, and yeah, we have to prepare now. I know, it's kind of that Boy Scout motto thing, always be prepared. We need to all do that. We need to all be ready for the possibility that we're going to lose, all of our data. At least keep the important stuff around. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time. theradiofactory.com.
The website, computertalkradio.com, computertalkradio.com. I am Benjamin Rockwell, and I am a computer nerd. You know that already. So, one of the things, though, in my day job, okay, so I am here on the radio, and I don't make a whole lot of money on doing this. I enjoy this. I enjoy bringing information to you. My day job sends out emails frequently to a lot of clients, a lot of people out there. And sometimes we run into problems. Basically, some of these people that we send messages to, they never get the email because there's a spam filter somewhere that's blocking it. Doesn't mean that the email is actually spam. It doesn't mean that we're spammers and we're sending out spam. As a matter of fact, we have absolutely zero efforts towards any kind of marketing emails in my day job. We're an aerospace subcontractor. We know who our clients are. Our clients know who we are. It's not like, hey, would you like to buy a wing? We've got a sale on wings this week. No, we're dealing directly with the manufacturers of major aerospace companies that you have heard of in the news, in various locations like, the airport and stuff like that. Look, this concept of spam actually can happen a lot to people frequently because they or their service provider has been put on one of many known spammer lists. What? Yeah. These are things called blacklists or black hole lists. Okay, so all the way along, I mean, this doesn't make sense to you. Usually you're not a spammer. You're not doing these various crazy things. But sometimes what happens is the company that handles your email, they've been completely blocked They've been put onto this list because one of their users or a number of their users are spamming, sending out unsolicited emails, just sending out bulk emails, and this actually winds up being very, very bad for your reputation. It's really bad for your company, at least any company. I mean, this might be your personal email, but it's bad for any company if they can't reach clients or suppliers and so forth in any other industry out there. You might actually sue somebody for slander, but the reality is these companies that do the blacklists, they don't care. They're going to ignore any email that you send to them. By all rights, they should have to ban specific email addresses, but not ranges of internet protocol addresses, IP addresses. But we're not going to talk them into doing that. We're not going to be able to stop them, because what happens is, if we ban specific email addresses, and they tried this in the past, what happens is the spammer just comes up with a brand new email address. They send out more emails, and it's all just, they find ways around. There's that old line. You can't make anything foolproof because fools are so ingenious. Yeah, and these guys aren't even fools. These guys, they're pretty smart. They just because you're doing something immoral, or somebody is doing something immoral, just because somebody is doing something unscrupulous, doesn't mean that they're fools. Doesn't mean that they're stupid. So what do you do? What do you do if you are in the situation where, yes, I ran into this a while back, and we kept on getting blocked? Okay, now you could change internet service providers. You could change the company that handles your email. Is that convenient? No, not even. See, you'd have to change your email address, and you don't want to do that, especially if you're with a company that has a widely known email address. You can ask people to put you on their safe senders list, their white list. If a blacklist is bad, there's something called a white list. That means good. But if these people can't get your emails, how are you going to get them to put you on a safe sender list or a white list? Basically, you'd have to call them up or send them snail mail, in which case, what's the point of email anymore? Here's the issue. We have to track down the core problem. This is usually a nerd handling this. This is usually somebody, like me, that's handling this. We have to find out the root cause. We have to find out what is causing your email to be considered banned, blacklisted, verboten. There are many items that could cause this. So, there's malware, viruses, on the server, on your email server. That's a bad thing. Your server, your email server, might be something called a relay server. Not intentionally. You might not have set this up intentionally, at least, or the nerd might not have set this up intentionally. And what is a relay server? Basically, that's a server that says, oh, hey, you want to send email through me? Sure, I'll send that on. Not a problem. We actually had that set up just for internally. If anybody sent an email to that server internally, we considered that good. Well, we no longer could allow that. We had to say you have to authenticate while you're sending the email to us so that we know that you are, yes, an internal person. That was what we had to do. And this is one of those situations where it would bounce that email, forward that email on to the outside companies, the outside addresses. It wasn't legitimate. As if people would basically get a computer virus, and it would just be easier for that computer virus to sneak through. What else? There's also spoofing. People pretending that they are sending email from, your server. And that's not good either. Look, there's a number of different things that we could go through. It would take us hours to go through every single problem that it could be in any particular situation out there. So look, my key issue here is there is nothing regulating the operation of a blacklist service. There really isn't. This is an unregulated industry. And it all comes from the fact that, well, the internet is kind of the Wild West out there. It's kind of just a crazy situation there. All you need is a domain, a DNS server, domain name services server, and a list of addresses to publish. Now, you also have to gain a reputation as a blacklist operator, and then you do all this. Different blacklist operators have different policies regarding how they verify their information, how long an address stays on the list, and procedures for challenging the listing and having it, poof, removed, etc. Look, they can do whatever they want. Some of these lists add addresses that are submitted automatically. Some of these lists are created just by following, they've got concepts called honeypots, where they just sit and they listen and they wait for spam to come in, and they try to get put onto a number of lists, and they just track it that way. And they'll use that honeypot information to create these blacklists. Unfortunately, some lists add the addresses submitted by end users, outside people that are manually typing it in. It is actually possible to get on a blacklist just because you made the wrong person mad at you. And that's unfortunate. That's something that perhaps down the line we need to address that. We need to figure out a better solution. Unfortunately, nobody has. Why? Because this is actually something that doesn't happen as often as you might think compared to all of the times that it's right. Wow. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. I'll be back in just a moment. I'm constantly looking for the right place to get the things that are on my nerd wish list. It's not easy. There are so many stores that have gone out of business. There are so many shady characters online, or so many of them are just simply not capable of handling my needs in a one-stop shop. In 1979, two guys got together and built the brick-and-mortar company that could serve your tech needs. Of course, today, they've got an online presence, and it's called Micro Center. They've got tablets, iPad, yes, but also Android and Windows and all the accessories, too. They've got laptops, desktops, all-in-ones, Windows or Apple, of course, all covered here. Motherboards and processors, and okay, all right, who are we kidding? It's really everything to build your own PC. Keyboards, mice, surge protectors, software, tools, and thumb drives. Enough. Look, from Apple to Zyxel, Micro Center has what you're looking for. 25 stores across the nation, or you can check them out online at microcenter.com. That's microcenter.com. The phone number, as always, 888-NERD, 888. That's 888-6373-888. And, of course, as we always do with any of your computer questions, we'll answer those. But if you have any questions in regards to the 40-year house, you can also ask me. You can ask, go online, go to 40yearhouse.com. And Marty will answer them there, or you can call me and I will ask him on air. We'll figure out what we can stump Marty with. That's the fun thing. I love throwing weird stuff at him. Like, okay, Marty, for instance.
Okay, Ben, let's have it.
All right, I am a sound guy. I am all about sound. I am as much as I am a computer nerd, I'm a sound nerd.
Are you an audiophiliac?
Yes, I am.
My.
I started mixing sound for the church I was going to when I was 13, and I haven't stopped since. I moved to a different church. Moved to many different churches along the way, but
so they kept throwing you out because you wouldn't leave because you weren't done mixing the sound yet?
Yes. So I know that with a house, there's a number of different things that we have to take into consideration in regards to sound and soundproofing. For instance, where I live, my home, I can hear stuff outside way too much. Yet, if I were to call downstairs, from the top of the stairs to the bottom of the stairs and around the corner is the kitchen. If I were to call downstairs to my wife, she cannot hear me, and vice versa. So there seems to be like plenty of soundproofing inside, but the interior walls, but not the exterior walls.
There may not be soundproofing inside. You just may not have a good acoustic channel. You may have loss en route.
Yeah, a combination thereof. Yes, definitely.
You mentioned hearing outside. The other night, my wife got out of bed and went to the far bedroom to sleep. And why? There was a frog or something outside going oink, 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 and was keeping her up, making her crazy.
Yeah.
Now, the rental house we're living in, we're building the 40-year house, is made with the best quality cardboard and staples.
Uh-huh.
It's got walls thinner than a politician's lies.
Oh, my. I like that. I'm going to have to remember that one. So you're probably experiencing a lot of what the local nature sounds have to offer you. I remember I stayed at my mom's house in Virginia a few years back, and there it was in the middle of summer, and I will tell you the crickets were maddening. Just crickets everywhere. It was...
They may not have all been crickets, you know.
Yeah?
Spring peepers make a similar noise.
Okay. I have no idea what those are.
Well, they had been tadpoles and not quite full-grown frogs. When they first come out, they're peeping because it's a mating call.
Okay. Wow.
So, yeah. It's more noise. But the place, I mean, you've identified a lot of it. The place to address noise penetration of a house, whether it's sound pollution or somebody next door who's really loud at snoring, is in the walls and the windows.
Yes.
Now, in the walls, in a good tight house, you've got plenty of insulation, and the same foams that are used to insulate thermally are also fairly good at reducing the acoustic pass-through. Windows, different matter. Windows are generally done by having isolated spaces within the windows, plus acoustic damping seals at the edges. If it's just a little bit elastic, then you'd have less of the pane of glass becoming a transmission medium for the audio.
Okay.
And inside the house, for interior walls, there are specific high-density plasterboard alternatives, gypsum alternatives, that are also good. The heavier, the denser the material, the harder it is for a sound wave to get it to move.
Yes.
Now, it's not impossible, it's just harder. And anytime it's harder for a sound wave to get a solid surface to move, that solid surface is a much less efficient transmitter of sound. In other words, noise reduction.
Yeah. So you've already thought about this. You've already started to put this together. This is
I've
great.
already done a lot of discussions with the companies that make this stuff.
Yeah. Any high-tech items in amongst this, or is this pretty much a low-tech direction?
There are some marginal items in the bonus room area, which is a space above an oversized three-car garage. It is largely... it could have been an echo chamber. We're talking about hard walls and things that don't have corners in them. But there are sound ablative foams that we can put at different points on a wall.
Oralex and stuff like that, yes.
Yeah, exactly that. And things we can do with, for example, foam behind canvas on paintings.
Yeah, yes. I've seen that treatment a number of times.
So, those are semi-high-tech. They're like you, I've spent way too many hours in recording studios.
Yes. So now, are you doing anything? So you've mentioned that bonus room is actually over the garage, and if I recall correctly, you're doing some recording yourself in that bonus room. You doing anything extra for the sound abatement?
Well, there will be a recording booth there, yes, and it will be isolated hung, if that means anything to anybody, where there's only minimal mechanical coupling between the floor space and the interior of the booth.
I imagine probably all of 4 listeners, plus myself got that one. But that actually is a good idea. It's one of those things where, that contact can transmit sound quite well, quite amazingly. So that kind of you're thinking about all of these things. You're applying all of these things, and that's kind of what amazes me about this 40-year house. You've been very meticulous.
Thorough? No, crazy. I've been crazy.
Yes, Bellevue called. They're looking for you, but no worries.
I'm glad somebody is.
The only way I'm going to tell them where you're at is by giving out the website, which is 40yearhouse.com. 40yearhouse.com. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. Steve Keske joins me next.
Hey guys, this is Benny Rockwell. Most of us use video cameras nowadays, but what about those old movie films in the back of your closet? Well, let me tell you about Legacy Digital Productions. They specialize in taking your old memories on film, videotape, and slides and digitizing them to DVDs. Imagine Grandpa's old 8mm and 16mm films that are just sitting in a box getting old and fading away. Legacy Digital will clean and recondition those films, capture them digitally frame by frame, and then produce beautiful DVDs of your precious memories on long-lasting, archive-quality discs. They don't use a projector, and your films can't be damaged in the process, the best available for families like yours. The final results are gorgeous. What better way to preserve those precious memories for future generations? Call right now, mention my name, Benny Rockwell, and receive a 30% discount on your order. Call toll-free 1-866-2-LEGACY. That's 1-866-2-LEGACY. 1-866-253-4229. And tell them Benny sent you. Your memories are priceless. So call 866-2-LEGACY now.
The website, computertalkradio.com. Computertalkradio.com. That is where you can find out ways to contact us. We've got a number of different places, different things we make available for you for reaching us. And that's pretty simple. You just slide on down at computertalkradio.com to where it says contact us, and then you get to the contact page. Very simple, very basic. Steve Keske joins me now, and hey, Steve, with the demise of ITT Tech, I understand you wanted to talk about education.
Yes, and my favorite subject is Khan Academy. We've been talking about this for years, at least 2, 3, 4 times.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And it's for our listeners that are thinking about having kids in the future, getting married and all this.
Or they've got grandkids around, too. Yeah.
They got grandkids,
it's great
too.
Stuff, yeah.
And the whole idea that Khan Academy in itself is a fabulous thing because they not only prepare kids from K through 12, but they get them ready for their SATs and going to college and all of the rest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, Khan Academy has gotten with Omnidyar, and that's OMIDYAR network. And that does Duck Duck Moose. Now, what these are apps that you can download to your phone or to your tablet, and they are specifically designed around, shall we say, toddlers or a little bit older to about 4-year-olds.
Okay.
In other words, that pre-going to school.
Yeah.
And like Khan Academy, it not only can the kids take and go through and learn stuff like mathematics and reading, and there's a few other ones with geometry where they learn basic shapes and colors and things in this order.
Mm-hmm.
But with that is they have that ability for the teachers and the mothers or parents and the teachers to be able to monitor how the child is progressing through these apps.
Okay.
And there's probably about 10 of them or more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I looked at a couple of them. One of them that I looked at was that Duck Duck Moose. And basically that was for teaching the alphabet, teaching how letters go together to create words and sounds, and this type of kind of, basic applications. Now, they're apps from Google Play. You can download them, and you can do them from iTunes. Not iTunes, but there's for your iPad too.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
And
nice.
And the other good part about it, like Khan Academy, this stuff is free of charge. People, doesn't cost you a penny.
Yeah, this is a great organization. They've worked on donations for ages now. The back history on Khan Academy, if you would please fill everybody in on that.
Well, I first got into looking at Khan Academy years ago because when I watched a TED report basically, and they were talking about it, and the founder of Khan Academy, and his whole concept was that they should be able to break down into smaller pieces all of these different subject matters and variations. Like, for instance, for high school kids teaching algebra, okay, how can we break down the fundamentals of algebra into small units that we can tape and that kids can watch over and over again until they get it?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Now, and that was going really good. And, of course, it was free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
And then our good old Microsoft people got involved with their foundation and gave them a whole bunch more money so they could up their staff, because the staff are only working because of donations, and they got a lot of volunteers out there helping.
Yeah.
Okay? So this helped them go even further. Then they started getting really into the grade schools and being able to actually have the kids in class on their tablets or whatever and actually taking these courses, and then the teachers can sit there and monitor what they're doing as well as the parents, but the teachers can monitor, and then the teachers know exactly which students need help and in what areas.
This is of course a very promising thing. I've known a number of people who have talked about this with very glowing references.
Yes,
I can't imagine running across anybody who could have had a bad experience with Khan Academy.
That's true. And one of the other things with these new apps, and I was doing doing a little reading on them, they were all developed on this, Duck Duck Moose group with educators from Stanford University. Education.
Oh, nice.
I mean, they had their inputs into what the content should be and how you should present this to this pre-kindergarten group.
Okay.
So I can understand how, this whole idea of education, starting it out early, that's true. I agree with it to a certain extent. But at the same time, we have to get more into that idea of being able to teach children at the children's speed, not at the school speed.
Yeah, definitely. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll be back in just a moment with my closing comments. Years ago, I found a web hosting company that fit my needs as a computer nerd, as a radio show host, and, well, a normal person. Recently, though, it became clear to me that it was time to upgrade. I had a choice between my old plan and the new one at 7 times the cost. It was that awkward point where I could choose between a sip of water or being dunked in a pool. I searched around, comparing the many options for someone like me. After looking for 3 weeks, there it was, SiteGround. In proper fashion, I tested their customer service, their knowledge, and their care, their willingness to do things the right way. The SiteGround salesman made sure that I didn't overbuy and get a 50-gallon bucket when all I needed was a 1-gallon bucket. The folks at SiteGround know WordPress, Joomla, and more. SiteGround.com. S-I-T-E ground.com for your web hosting needs. SiteGround. A buddy of mine had this happen to him. And it's one of those things. I want you to take this little bit of, I don't know, this cautionary rule into mind at all times. I had a friend. He decided he would allow his boss to be a friend on Facebook and LinkedIn. And he went out and he had a wild time at a party. We'll leave it at that. He had a very wild time. And then he heard about it on Monday from his boss. Yeah, because he posted some stuff up on Facebook that really should not be posted on Facebook. Even though it wasn't directly in relation to his boss was quite interested to see, what kind of party animal was working for him. Now, he fortunately survived that little incident, but it was embarrassing. I will tell you that we need to all be careful about this concept. One of the rules that I've had for a long time with Facebook, with LinkedIn, with any kind of social media, even though, okay, you guys know me. Well, I hope you know me well enough to know that the way I talk, the way I walk are the same. I don't put anything embarrassing on Facebook. Well, okay, I don't do a whole lot that's embarrassing even. Most of the embarrassing stuff I talk about it here on the show. But I will tell you, even at my level, I'm very cautious. I don't believe in making friends on LinkedIn of current coworkers. If somebody asks me, and they are a peer level or below, on LinkedIn, I will go ahead and do that. I do not go out seeking my boss on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's not too good, because LinkedIn is a social media website all about finding a new job. Well, it's not all about that, but you've got the idea there. We need to be very careful about the connections we make in social media. We need to be very aware of the fact that some of those friends that we may be choosing to be friends with on Facebook, on LinkedIn, there may be some distinct baggage that's going to come with being their friends as well. Hey, Benjamin, remember that time that we did this? And I'm sitting here. I've actually had somebody do that. They basically added my name, accidentally, we found out later, to this concept that I had gone out and I had done something wild and crazy. And my wife, who knows me well, she said, "This isn't you." I'm like, this isn't me. Whoa. Hey. And we, of course, we had to chase that down. But it's always fun. Yeah, not. He actually did apologize publicly on Facebook. But it was as public as Facebook is. Oh, wait, yes, it's 100% public. But you get the idea. This is Benjamin Rockwell. You're listening to Computer Talk Radio. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about The Radio Factory, an exciting new venue for talk radio. It's the internet, the wave of the present. My name is Benjamin Rockwell, and I'm the host of a syndicated radio program, Computer Talk Radio. So I know the internet is here and now. Many of the hosts at theradiofactory.com have their own podcasts or radio shows across the country, but many people like the comfort of listening to their own special radio show at a specific time and day, much like we watch live television. The internet, as you're probably aware, is a powerful tool that allows the Radio Factory to deliver unique programming with far more variety than the windbags who are simply about contriving up viewpoints to get you riled up. Additionally, you'll find that many of the programs are shorter, giving more information in less time. Stick with theradiofactory.com and see how it evolves to keep you entertained, interested, informed, and above all, intelligent. After all, the Radio Factory motto is building your intelligence one talk show at a time.